So I wanted to make a quick video. I was just talking with brother I'm Classic, and we were talking about how a lot of, like I mentioned, how cancel culture, the ones that used to cancel people are now being canceled. Namely, this this therapist who's getting her pretty much just desserts. And I'm watching, oh man, it's not Shay Sharday, but the Jamaican chick. I forgot her name, man. Chantel Simone, I think it is. And she's making a video about this, and I'm going through the video, and I'm like, wow, the people that were canceled are getting canceled. But you could see how misandrous this woman was just because she had failed relationships, and then, a lot of the times, especially with this environment, it breeds acute narcissism and other mental disorders that might actually be unique or be fleshed out even more, or case studies have, how these mental disorders start to show themselves when certain environmental conditions are met. And what's beautiful about this, and just, connecting ideas and ideologies and talking points and thoughts that we've had in this space. BGS said a while back, what's it called? I was about to reveal the point here, but actually it's gonna be a title anyway. But BGS said this a while back that COVID accelerated a lot of this shit. Because I was in the comment section of Dr. Ronald O'Neill, and I was like, it'll be like the way we were wronged, or we are wronged as men in this time, will be studied years into the future. Other generations will study this stuff, and they will know and see that we were wronged. But to the point of, my original thought that sparked this video, karma has been, COVID accelerated karma. And that's like, I'm just looking at it. I'm like, all the stuff where these people are getting canceled. It's like, man, I want to be there to see it. And I'm like, I'm here. I have to appreciate, like, okay, this shit is happening now. And I'm like, I'm in it. Like, I'm seeing it. And like, it's a beautiful thing that COVID has really accelerated the karma that a lot of these people should have received damn near instantaneously. But there's, like, one thing about a karma, and I've been in this situation, karma lets you dig your own hole. It doesn't dig the hole for you. It allows you to dig the hole, watches you, and then says, hey, you're 6 feet under. And then starts to bury your ass. So you can't get out because you're 6 feet under. There's no ladder up. There's no, nothing to pull you out of that motherfucker. No. Karma's there with, like, karma lets you dig it with a shovel, and then karma comes with a backhoe and just pushes the whole pile of dirt into the damn hole. So you don't even have time to really think and try and climb or do some other shit to try and get out of it. And, like, that's a crazy thing about karma. It lets you bury itself. Same thing with procrastination, by the way. Procrastination really lets you bury yourself. So you can actually say, like, procrastination is a child of karma. I've had to deal with that recently myself. But you start to see how these people are really feeling karmic justice for the shit that they've been saying. And the shit, not even just that they've been saying, but they've been doing to themselves. Like, this woman has mentally retarded herself, or has retarded herself in terms of relationships as well. It's so bad. A lot of these women, whether you know it or not, we don't have the numbers on this, but you start to hear and you start to see, there's anecdotal evidence, proof, what have you, that a lot of these women are on fucking psych meds. Like, they're not all there. And these are the women that you would actually, or the people around them are on psych meds, or have disorders that aren't properly diagnosed, or is known, but they don't have medical insurance to actually do anything with it. Which is why, especially in impoverished or poverty-stricken areas, you have such a large population of people that are underserved medically in terms of, like, mental disorders and things like that, just because they don't have they can't afford the insurance to deal with it. But you're really starting to see where a lot of these people are, you think they're normal, and then you find out they're popping all types of pills. Like, they had that one podcast where the chick talks about, having after sex, or having anal sex, and then leaving the skid mark on the bed and then sleeping in it. Now, what you may not know, because I remember when I first stumbled across like her and her podcast, there's like Whore Minds, and then like there's Poor Minds, and there's Cocktails or something like that. I think she's on Cocktails. Poor Minds is the other chick that's thick, and then there's that the light what's it called, the smaller black chick that's there. That's a real fucking city girl. But I think it's Cocktails, and she's the other half of Cocktails. And when you hear her fucking talk, this bitch does lines of coke. She does all types of fucking drugs. She does all types of wild shit, like getting her ass ate out, eating out other people's asses. Like, she's a fucking sexual deviant. So that shit is really not off the fucking, like, that's not off the preserve for her if you look at some of the other shit that she's done. Like, that she's admitted that she's done. You know, like, people say these things, and I even say it too, because you just don't think people are really listening to you. And then you're like, oh shit, you heard that? Huh? I didn't think anybody would listen. You know, and it's very surprising, because even I'll like, you know, start up another an Obfuscate stream, and then people will be like, oh man, I'm glad you're back. And I'm like, bitch, how'd you know I was gone? You know, so you'd be very surprised. And that's the positive side of it. You know, some of these motherfuckers, like, they be putting themselves out there, and it's just like, bitch, yeah, you fucking, you suck all types of dick and pussy, and you're out here eating ass, shitting on fucking, like, doing anal, doing lines of fucking coke and all types of other fucking pills, and people are taking advice from you. And the worst part about it is, again, this is where I said, like, you know, people that aren't necessarily crack themselves or have any type of mental disorder themselves, they can actually get a secondhand mental disorder, so to speak, from a person that, you know, they live with. Because, you know, you see a woman like this or a woman like that talking about either the therapist or, you know, they're kind of like one and the same in terms of the scenario I'm talking about here. But the therapist or the woman from Cocktails podcast, you know, they talk about podcast males, like, look at these podcast bitches. But, you know, they're doing this fucking content, and then there's people, like, they're not all there. Because even the chick for the other half of the Cocktails crew, she's like light skin or whatever. You could see where she's just like, okay. And then you like the other chick, the darker skin chick, is just like, you know, she said some shit and she's like, yeah, that's normal. And then the other chick's like, all right, and then moving on, because she knows her friend is a fucking sexual deviant. But what you're seeing is a lot of people, the listeners, are getting these secondhand mental disorders. And that's the crazy shit, is that we're getting secondhand mental disorders from fucking people that we're taking, like, you know, advice from or what have you, whether like professionally or, you know, just off like what's it called, off YouTube and other spaces, which is what's great about the Manosphere, because we call that shit out all the time. We critique one another all the fucking time. You see where motherfuckers just start to, like, you know, motherfuckers, like, start to really go through this fucking space. Like, every so often there's a war, there's a burning. I mean, you can almost say it's like a fucking wound. The shit's self-cleaning. You know, the space really does clean itself every so fucking often, man. that could really be used against me. But yeah, man, like, you know, COVID accelerated karma, and what's it called? Secondhand mental disorders. This is what we're dealing with. Anyways, let me get back in. Lunch break's over. Time to get back to work. Talk to you later. Peace.